Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to Wrestling Premiere. This is John Cena's first championship reign. Wow. John Cena's first championship reign. So this is still when he was Dr. Thugonomics. He was still rocking the chain gang. He was his finisher was still called the FU. He had a rap album out. Yeah, and then he replaced the undisputed belt into the spinner belt, which in my personal opinion is the best belt. I don't care what nobody says. I know a lot of people hate the spinner belt. Me personally, I love the spinner belts. I'm one of those people that loved it when it first came out. I was one of the few people that loved it to the very end. I don't like WWE's championship belts because they all look the fucking same now. This one was more distinct. This one had more style to it. It had its own personality. Hella people wore it. The only problem was the only person who could never wear that championship was the Undertaker. And everybody was like, "What?" I said this one day. I was chilling with my friends. I said, "Y'all know Undertaker can never be WWE champion." It was like, "What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? He can be WWE champion if he wants to." I was like, "No, he can't. Why not? How would Undertaker look with the spinner belt around his waist?" And then everybody had to sit there and think about it. Like, damn, he got a point there. I always had a point there. You cannot put a spinner belt on a dead man. You can't do that. That's stupid. It fucks up his character. That's why he can only do the heavyweight championship. But anyways, though, let's get right into it, though. This is John Cena's first WWE championship reign. Very memorable. Very memorable. He went up against some tough opponents. Like JBL, that I Quit match. Fire. Then he had a feud with Chris Jericho. That was alright. But then he got into it with Kurt Angle. And those were some bangers, bro. And that was Perk Angle. That was Perk Angle, ladies and gentlemen. Those were some of the best matches, bro. I think he held it all the way up until Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank on him. So,
What's up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Okay, originally, this is once again something I do a lot. Today was going to be Batista's day for me to make a video on it. But seeing as his album came out on this week in 2005, I decided to go with John Cena first. Batista's first title reign will be coming soon, and I can't wait to cover it as I really love
we definitely got to recover. Yeah.
Batista's title reign over John Cena's, as he was seen as someone who was more vulnerable. Anyways, John Cena.
Batista title reign was way more memorable. Had way better opponents.
I'm here to cover his very first world title reign, and I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought about making a video about his album, but I decided otherwise as I didn't really know how I could review that one. I don't think I'm able to make an album video, whether it be a freaking John Cena album or anything else.
Man, you can do whatever.
And that will be coming soon, but album, I'm not sure. With that said, the time is now.
Man, you can do whatever. It's YouTube, man.
Title reign. I already covered his rise to the top, and if you want the prequel to this video, then check out JBL's title reign. Right now, let's get into it. At this point, John Cena was the #2 guy in the entire company. I always felt like Batista was a bit above him during 2005, but that would all change. On the April 7, 2005 episode of SmackDown, John Cena came up to discuss his WWE title win at WrestleMania 21. The crowd was so excited to see Cena hoisting the belt, and they chanted his name. Cena said that the champ is here, and they once again cheered. He said that JBL, the longest reigning champion of the decade, survived several matches, but the champ is here. He said that he's supposed to be a thug. He doesn't talk like a champion. He may not fit the dress code, but he's doing alright. I mean, he's champion. Another thing that they say is that he has no respect for this business, and when he modified the US title, wrestling traditionalist and JBL got offended. Cena mentioned that he's going to do something even crazier with the WWE Championship, and Cena chants intensified. He went out to the crowd and he challenged anyone to fight him. Whether it be Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, JBL, it doesn't matter. He doesn't give a damn who you are. You want some? Come get some, as the Chain Gang's time is now. The following week, Cena was set to unveil the new WWE Championship, but there was a hiccup. For some reason, JBL stole a box of Cena's, and apparently that box contained the WWE Championship. When Bradshaw came out, there it was. the box. JBL also had Cena's old title in his possession. Cena wasn't pissed though, as after tonight, that wasn't going to be the WWE Championship. JBL bragged about how he's the longest reigning champ and he refused to allow Cena to desecrate his legacy. JBL said that he will destroy Cena's title and his title reign. And in his words, the time is done. As JBL was opening the box, Cena tried to convince him not to. And when JBL opened the box, it wasn't even the title. It was guts. Apparently the guts got JBL dazed, and Cena decided to approach him. Cena then dropped all of that onto JBL, who was disgusted. Cena said that JBL has said he's better than everyone, blah blah blah. But there's people who talk about it, and then there's people who be about it. Cena said that he's a champion that makes an impact, unlike JBL, who also claims it. He then revealed the new WWE Championship. Like, look at that thing. It's straight out of the 2000s. It's as bad as Lamborghini doors on an Escalade. It became outdated. Okay, that was a little too much. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as a Lamborghini door on an Escalade. It's outdated.
Hey, man. That belt's still fire to this day, bro. That belt's still fire to this day. If anybody say any differently, you just a hater, bro. That spinner belt is still... I would rather them bring the spinner belt back than the WWE Universal Championship we got right now, which is just a big ass square with a WWE symbol in the middle. No, fuck that. I like that better. I like the spinner belt better. It's more unique.
Now, personally, I never understood why they didn't change the design in like 2007 or 2008. But at least by then it didn't spin anymore, because I couldn't imagine Triple H holding a spinner belt. It only fit Cena's character from this time period. By the time he became the Marine, I don't think it fit him at all. It wasn't rapping at that point, the rapper character was gone. There were only a few guys that looked good holding that title. Cena himself, Edge, Jeff Hardy, and The Miz. Other than those guys, I'm not sure if there's anyone that actually looked good holding that title. I did have that title as a kid though, and my inner child would go crazy if I had that in my possession again. Meanwhile, JBL was still holding Cena's old title. He won a fatal 4-way match to become the #1 contender for the title at Judgment Day. The cabinet was still in office, and for some reason it feels weird to see this group without JBL as the WWE champion. The following week, JBL mocked the fans, stating that they're a bunch of quitters. He unleashed a tirade against them and John Cena, and he mentioned his troubles of trying to get a title shot, and he compared it to Moses parting the sea. He called Cena a one-hit wonder, which is basically the Mims or even the Chameleonaire of WWE, although he's doing pretty good right now. Cena heard enough and he came out to offer a rebuttal. The champ said that it's sad that JBL has to steal his old title from his bag. Cena did praise JBL, stating that he isn't a quitter, he's a millionaire, he's an ex-champion, and he made fun of Michael Cole again. JBL said that he's right, to which Cena responded, "Neither am I. Neither am I a quitter." He challenged JBL to a matchup at Judgment Day with no submissions, no countouts, no disqualifications, no pinfalls, and this match goes by the name of I Quit. Cena shouted that he's gonna beat the hell out of JBL for everything that he stands for, and at Judgment Day, the last two words that are gonna come out of JBL's pathetic mouth before it passes out will be, "I quit." Cena showed ruthless aggression and reckless intent in his statement. While Cena had to deal with JBL, he also had an album on the way. You Can't See Me, the album was released on May 10, 2005. It's funny to me how this album did well for someone who didn't really have a career as a rapper. It peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200, and it peaked at number 3 on the US rap albums that week. The album in its first week sold 40,000 copies, and as of 2010, it sold over 1 million copies, which makes it a certified album. I had to mention this because it coincided with Cena's title reign. JBL, meanwhile, is being petty. He claimed that he's going to re-release his book that week, and he stated that he's sweat gowns and he's bled buckets, and the last words he'll ever think of are the words "I quit." Cena interrupted, but this time though he was looking for a fight. He tackled JBL and they brawled. The cabinet tried saving JBL, and they did initially, but a bunch of stars tried restraining both men. Cena escaped the guys, and they continued brawling until the guys managed to stop them once and for all. As for their I Quit match at Judgment Day, well, it was one of the most violent matches in WWE history.
Fire-ass match.
Cena star power, and all in all, it was a legendary bout. Cena had an over-the-top entrance, he had a freaking DJ mixing in the turntable, and personally, I really like the differences between both men. Cena's more of an anti-establishment guy, and JBL's trying to be a traditionalist. Anyways, both men were vicious in their efforts to make their opponent say "I quit." Especially JBL, he was choking
fire-ass match.
He made the fans despise him. And as for Cena, this was basically the sequel to Eddie Guerrero's Blade Job. And to say Cena bled profusely, well, it would be an understatement.
Yeah.
JBL was calling him a punk-ass bitch. The crowd was on his side, and all in all, it was one of the greatest matches of that era. JBL's limo was destroyed, and Cena had to grab the exhaust pipe of the truck to make JBL say I quit. Basically, JBL blew a huge lead during this match, and he quit to avoid a beating. That didn't salvage JBL's wrongdoings though, and Cena sent him through some glass. Overall, Cena's best match up to that point, and it's probably in his top 5 or 10 matches of his career.
Facts.
On that week's SmackDown, John Cena came out to reflect on the I Quit match. He wasn't here to make jokes or anything like that, and he showed off some of his battle scars that the fans were cheering from. He thanked the fans and they cheered him once again. He said that he proved the doubters wrong by not uttering those 2 humiliating words at the pay-per-view. JBL, though, interrupted, and he shockingly showed respect to Cena. He said that he was wrong in claiming Cena was going to be the one to quit. He said that he's beaten everybody, and he's not sure if he can beat Cena, though. He told Cena that he's the man. For now. He said that Cena's going to be good for a short time. He's going to be like guys like James Dean, Kurt Cobain, and Mike Tyson. They had the greatness, but they self-destructed, and so is Cena. He can hold the title for 6 months, a year, hell, even a year and a half. But when Cena screws up, he, JBL, is going to be there to pick up the pieces. He will be there to win the title, and it's going to be his legacy. Cena said that if he goes down, he's going down in a blaze of glory, and he doesn't give a damn about legacy. Cena also had something for JBL's legacy, but since he came out here complaining, he's not giving it to him. JBL wanted to see it though, as it was basically feeding into his ego. It was a tribute video. After JBL convinced him and the fans accepted, Cena showed the video. Initially it was a video praising JBL, but all of a sudden it turned into a joke. They replayed the moment JBL shouted "I quit" 100 times, and Cena called him the most celebrated quitter in WWE history. This was also the final time Cena and JBL interacted on SmackDown. Anyways, John Cena will make his final appearance as a SmackDown superstar in the June 2nd, 2005 episode. He was like the most unstoppable star in the company, along with Batista. Okay, now this is where things take a turn. This is where the crowd began to turn on Cena for a bit. This is when it's noticeable, basically. It's not like 100% of the crowd hated him, and it's not really that noticeable if you think about it. On the June 6th, 2005 episode of Raw, Eric Bischoff was very excited at the first pick of the draft. He was ecstatic, and why wouldn't he be? Because it was going to be a top guy. Anyways, Y2J Chris Jericho was set to host a highlight reel with the SmackDown superstar. Jericho called for them to come out, but they didn't. The fans started booing and no one showed. Y2J was starting to get pissed, but then we hear that familiar theme song, and Jericho's reaction says it all. JR and Jerry Lawler couldn't believe it, and there he was. The champ, John Cena. This was Cena's first appearance in a non-draft episode of Raw. Now, around this era, it was so weird to see guys on other brands. It was like seeing a player playing for a rival's team. Cena said that the champ is her because St. Louis, and Jericho mentioned that Batista and Cena are on the same brands. He then reminded everyone that he beat 2 men to win titles at Vengeance. You guys know who those men were. Jericho told Cena that if he wants to make it as a musician, then he's gotta go 100%, even if it means he alienates some of his wrestling fans. Cena said that he fights for these people, and the WWE champ is here. He sent a message to all of Raw. You want some? Come get some. Captain Charisma Christian interrupted. Christian ridiculed Cena, calling him a fraud, and he threatened to take away the WWE championship from him. Now, a little context. These two aren't very good buddies in storyline, because Christian was talking trash about Cena for the past 2 months. He called Cena a poser, and he asked him to take a stroll, and Canada's in the house, because that's how he rolls. You couldn't cut it with the Brood, they even put you on the shelf. Gangrel sucking blood, he was sucking something else. What? Keep talking because I'm gonna lay your ass down. This is the highlight reel, so you two must be the ass clowns. Jericho was pointing at them and shouting "burn" while the crowd was enjoying this. And according to you, Marky Mark, I might be, but I will beat both of your asses if you try to fight me. The champ is here, so you better pray to God you switch shows. But before you do, for old time's sake, here's a 5-second pose. From there, the two brawled, and if only they got to feud with one another, because it would have been awesome to see these guys in a program in 2005 or 2011, because Christian would have been a star guarantee had he feuded with John Cena. Cena neutralized both men with the help of Jericho to stand tall. Later that night, Eric Bischoff finally met John Cena. Bischoff was glad to see Cena, while Cena just wanted to get the hell out of there. The Raw GM asked Cena if he'd like to join his crusade against ECW, and Cena declined. Bischoff told him that he could be a very powerful asset for Cena behind the scenes, and Cena responded, "And you should know that I don't play politics." Wait there. Bischoff warned him, but Cena mentioned the Monday Night Wars and told him to make friends with one of the other draft picks. The following week, Chris Jericho complained to Eric Bischoff about Christian being the #1 contender. He said that he's going to beat the hell out of Christian and make Bischoff change his mind. Now, Jericho did kick Christian's ass, but that wasn't the only ass he was kicking. Immediately after winning the match, Chris Jericho ambushed his own tag team partner, John Cena. This was the first time Jericho turned heel in about a year and a half. Y2J ran up to Bischoff and he asked him if that's enough for a title match. He was going crazy, like he was so damn desperate he attacked the face of the company. Christian then ran up to Bischoff and they argued. Christian said that he was on the roll and he deserved a title shot, and Bischoff made the match official for Vengeance. John Cena versus Christian versus Chris Jericho in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Cena then ran up to Jericho and he attacked him. Personally, I think it was originally going to be between Christian and Cena, but they didn't have faith in Captain Charisma. Now, it should have been Christian's time to shine because they built this match up for months, from the Royal Rumble all the way to June. Plus, Christian straight up told them that their album sucks. As for the match at Vengeance, well, awesome. I just watched it and it was fun. There wasn't really a dull moment. Jericho, right from the get-go, was disrespectful. He slapped the taste out of Cena's mouth. And from my memory, I just watched it yesterday, I don't think Christian and Jericho worked as a cohesive unit at all during the match. Like, they hated each other, and that's a good thing. It's not like he turned heel and all of a sudden became buddies with Christian again. They had issues with each other from a previous feud. Christian was wise, but time cost him the match. And just a reminder, this was the first match when the fans booed Cena. Now, Cena was in good hands at this point. He wasn't a great wrestler here, and it didn't really show because he was in the ring with two of the very best. In the end, Cena rammed Christian's legs into Y2J before connecting with the FU to retain his title. Following Vengeance, Christian was unfortunately dragged to SmackDown, which basically halted his momentum. As for Cena, he continued to feud with Jericho, and he was invited to the highlight reel on a July 4, 2005 episode of Raw. Now, this was a pretty entertaining segment. Both men tore into each other, and it ended in chaos. Now, a little side note, this is a story time. As a kid, I really despised Jericho. I hated Jericho so much, I threw a toy of his into a pond. Like, can't get any better than that. I threw him into a freaking pond, and I despised what he did to Cena. Anyways, Jericho praised Cena for a bit before putting himself over. Anything Cena could do, Jericho could do better. We got 2 music videos, while Jericho has 5. He showed us a clip of Fozzy at the Download Festival. The fans booed Jericho as he called himself a real rock star. Cena said, "Sure, this is a pretty one-sided interview, but you got a lot of good things. Thanks for having me. I'm out." Cena tried leaving, but Jericho got offended with Cena's words and he asked him to come back. Now, the 2 words that Jericho got offended by were good luck. Jericho said that these concerts have nothing to do with luck. Cena congratulated Jericho once again before walking away. Jericho this time said that Cena congratulating him means nothing. He called himself a legend in the business, and he called himself a bigger star than Cena, and the only reason why the fans don't see him as a bigger star is because Cena has that title on his shoulder. Y2J can take that title from him anytime he wants. Cena realized what this was about, the WWE title. Marky Mark said that he sees and feels Jericho. Y2J is nothing without the championship. The fans chanted, "Cena, Cena," as the champ was pointing them out. They then booed for some reason. The champ said that Jericho's the first to tell everyone what he has and done. And Cena is the first to tell him that he's an asshole. He told him to wake up because these people ain't stupid. Cena said that he remembers what Jericho's done, when Raw was Jericho. But now, Jericho is cheap. Y2J was clearly offended. Cena said that Jericho's taken everything he's done and covered it in cheap sauce. When he sees Jericho, he doesn't see Y2J, he sees Y2 cheap. Jericho responded with a cheap slap of his own. Cena liked this and it turned into a brawl between the two. When Cena started to gain momentum, Jericho was like, "F this, I'm out." Many officials tried to restrain him away and Cena did this. While Jericho had issues with Cena, the champ also had issues with authority. The following week on Raw, Eric Bischoff booked Cena in a title match against Jericho at SummerSlam. This was because, in Eric's eyes, he didn't want Cena to defend the title whenever he wanted. And plus, he was still hurting from his stiff arm a month ago. Cena told him, and these are his words, Frosty Top, that's what he called him, that he's 2 words away from an ass whooping. Jericho interrupted and he was happy to get that title shot. He commended Bischoff for the decision and he promised to not let him down. Jericho said that Cena isn't championship material, from his clothes to his attitude, and Cena's nothing but a thug. He promised to win the title at SummerSlam and he left. As for Bischoff, well, he was on the receiving end of a John Cena FU. Cena told him welcome to the new Raw before calling him a bitch. In the weeks leading to SummerSlam, Jericho tried to weaken Cena by handpicking the Lumberjacks in the match against Snitsky. Obviously, you know what happened. The Lumberjacks neutralized Cena, but he fought and made a comeback to win the whole thing. Cena won because many fan favorites interfered and they knocked down the heels. Jericho was irate because his plan was foiled, and also, is Viscera Cena's biggest fan or what? Like, just look at him. Now, before their SummerSlam match, both men were set to participate in the Battle of the Bands. Cena performed first. He performed the song Bad Bad Bad. This is a bizarre segment. Like, 2 main eventers going at it in the Battle of the Bands. What the hell? Like, I'm trying to imagine Austin and Rock performing and trying to one-up each other.
It was a good way to promote Cena's album. You gotta think about it. WWE trying to make that money, man. Vince is trying to make that money any way he can. He like, "Cena, you gonna make this album? We gonna get this money off of you, my boy. So go ahead." And we don't make no money off Chris Jericho and his band, so we'll promote him as well and his band.
each other, but that's a whole different story because these two actually had some musical experience. As for Jericho, well, the city of Cleveland was not kind to him, and for that reason, he refused to perform. He wasn't pleased with Cena's performance, and he claimed that it's unfair to come out because the fans were going to boo him anyways. And if this Battle of the Bands was anywhere else, then they'd chant his name. He officially pulled Fozzy from the contest, and he let Cena know that he's lucky, but everyone will be able to see Y2J at SummerSlam, and he would be the new champion, because he's the true bad man. Cena performed once again, and meanwhile, Eric Bischoff booked Carlito in a matchup against Cena. And if Carlito wins that match, then he gets a title shot the following week. Oh, and I forgot. Chris Jericho's a special referee. Cena did have that match win on a few occasions, but the referee was the X Factor. So Carlito won. I mean, when you have that damn referee hitting a freaking line salt, and I guess he was inspired to do this by some WWE games, why wouldn't Carlito win? As for the title match the following week, Jericho was the special referee once again, and this time, Eric Bischoff was at ringside. Once again, there was some bad, or from your perspective, good officiating from Y2J. Cena did attack the referee, and this time though, he got lucky by getting rid of Jericho for a bit and FUing Carlito to retain the title. Cena wouldn't stand tall for long as Jericho low-blowed him. Y2J then unleashed a vicious assault on the champ. He blasted Cena with the camera to bust him wide open, and he locked him in the walls as Eric Bischoff mocked him and delivered slaps. Jericho then laid his eyes on the WWE Championship as Cena looked on. Now, heading into SummerSlam, it was Chris Jericho who had the edge. Cena had to wrestle both him and Carlito in a handicap match, and he didn't stand tall as Y2J delivered a brutal chair shot. Oh, and if you're wondering, Cena won the handicap match by covering Carlito. As for their match at SummerSlam, first of all, that promo for the match, it was amazing. It showed the intense and infinite hatred these two men had for each other. When I hear the word promo, this is definitely one of the first promos I think of. Obviously after some others, but still, this is a pretty good promo. Anyways, I really like this match. Jericho once again masked Cena's in-ring inexperience, and this was also the first match where the Cena boos were very loud and clear. During the match, Chris Jericho dominated, and he was always one step ahead of Cena. He canceled his moves, he caught him off guard, and Jericho's experience proved to be the difference. But you gotta realize that this is 2005 John Cena who we're talking about. He was basically unstoppable on pay-per-view, and that's what happened on that summer night in Washington, D.C. John Cena in front of a loud crowd caught Jericho off guard, spun him around, and connected with the FU to walk out of SummerSlam, still the champ. The next night, Jericho claimed Cena got lucky, and Bischoff poked both men in a rematch. This time, the loser gets fired. Bischoff was also going to be there to ensure Jericho walks out as the champion. As for the match, it was decent. Jericho was really desperate. He scouted Cena's moves from the previous night, and Bischoff was trying to screw over the champion. Bischoff even handed Jericho some brass knucks, but Y2J took too long and Cena kicked out. In the end, Cena catapulted Jericho into the title belt, which in turn knocked down Bischoff, which in turn led to a John Cena FU. 1, 2, 3, Jericho's gone. He couldn't believe it, and Bischoff called him an SOB. Jericho begged for another chance, and he even went on his knees saying that he's got a family to feed, but Bischoff wasn't having it. He even told him, I don't give a damn about you, your wife, or your kid. Now get out of here. Security had to kick him right out of the building, and this is a sad ending. The fans chanted, nah, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. In the ring, John Cena was on the receiving end of a German suplex from Kurt Angle. Angle destroyed Cena with several moves and uppercuts and rights, and Eric Bischoff then introduced Cena's new #1 contender to the title, Kurt Angle. Now, Angle was going to come for the title eventually. He was just busy with Charmel and Eugene, but now his mind is clear and he's poised to capture the gold. On the August 29th, 2005 episode of Raw, John Cena addressed this incident. Cena mentioned all the bad things going on nowadays. Gas is way too expensive, 50 Cent cussing at the VMAs, and the Fat Joe thing, and the attack he suffered by a red and blue Tasmanian devil. The good news is that he saved a bunch of money on car insurance. And the great news, after last week, the champ is still here. But the plot thickens as Angle's the #1 contender to the title. Cena said that he's never backed down from a fight and he starting tonight. Cena then called out the #1 contender. When Angle came out, he showed footage of the assault and he said that he's not going to walk down the aisle and fight Cena, because that would jeopardize his chances of winning the title on Unforgiven. Doesn't mean Angle's gonna get his ass kicked, and Cena's gonna get his ass kicked. He bragged about his accolades, and he said that he's got more wrestling ability in his pinky than Cena's got in his whole body. And he's at the top of his game right now. He put himself over as
Kurt Angle, baby.
He said that he's on a roll because he's more relentless, more vicious than he's ever been in his entire career, and he doesn't give a damn about anyone or anything that gets in his way. He claimed that he's gonna end Cena's charade at Unforgiven by making him tap out before calling him a low-life street thug punk. Cena said that since Angle's a gold medal winner, he ain't got a chance in this one. But he's still calling his ass out. Jerry Lawler said that it's a bad week for rappers to get attacked, and he told us to ask Suge Knight. Angle walked down the ramp before walking away. He walked down the ramp again, only to walk to the back again. Cena said that Angle likes to hit guys from behind, and he turned around. Angle was triggered by those remarks and he tackled Cena. He nearly locked him in the Angle lock, but Cena pushed him away. Many refs restrained Angle away from Cena. Now, heading into Unforgiven, it was Angle who had the upper hand. He attacked Cena twice. He Angle slammed him on top of the Ram, and on the final Raw before the pay-per-view, Angle once again stood on top of Cena as Bischoff shouted at him. Now, a little side note, this was the first time Angle wore a mouthpiece. Fun fact, huh? In storyline, Cena was at a bit of a disadvantage. His ankle was hurting, and Bischoff was ready to screw him over once again. As for the match, I'm not sure what to say about it. I would have watched it before making this video, but I expected this one to be long. I expected this one to be very long, hence why I didn't. I did watch it long ago, but my memory of it is skewed. I remember thinking the No Way Out match was better, but that doesn't mean it sucks. It was good. Angle dominated, Bischoff got involved and showed conduct on becoming of a GM, and Cena accidentally got himself disqualified. Eric Bischoff demanded the title change hands, but it wasn't possible because it was a DQ. Cena FU'd him once again, and Angle attacked him afterwards. Some little kid called Angle an idiot, and things didn't end well for him as Cena FU'd him through the announce table. The next night, Eric Bischoff brought out the previous WWE Championship and he stripped Cena of the title. And then, he crowned Kurt Angle the new champion. Mr. McMahon crashed the party and he said that Cena wasn't stripped of the gold, and he let Bischoff know that the only way a title changes hands is by pinfall submission, which means Cena wasn't stripped of the title. Bischoff whined about how Cena attacked him, but Vince mocked him, and he shouted at him to shut the hell up. That always gets me. When McMahon's shouting shut the hell up, it's hilarious. It's not even supposed to be hilarious, but it is. Angle won by DQ, which meant Cena was still champ. Vince then booked Eric Bischoff in a matchup against John Cena for the WWE Championship. Now, despite Kurt Angle being on his side, Bischoff got his ass kicked. He did manage to capture the title, though. Who am I kidding? Cena beat all those guys only to lose to Bischoff? Hell no. Angle did interfere during the match, and Bischoff was wearing his '99 overall karate suit, but it was no match for 2005 John Cena. Okay, now that he beat Bischoff, it was time for Cena to focus on his next challenger. But who was it going to be? On the October 10th episode of Raw, nearly all of Raw's top guys lined up to complain about who the #1 contender is going to be. HBK was out here chilling with a coconut, and Cena let every one of those guys know what's on his mind. And Cena, he basically insulted all the competitors, and he was telling them these nuts and random ass stuff like that, you know. And now his reps used to be around that time period. He was just ripping into them, and the Lita one is what got me. He claimed that he shook her hand last week and she gave him gonorrhea. Edge backed off. He's like, what the hell? Now, Cena's next challenger, though, or challengers, were Kurt Angle and the winner of the Taboo Tuesday vote. The choices were The Big Show, Kane, and Shawn Michaels. Obviously, you know who won this one. It was an awkward moment for HBK as he was next to two giants. Big Show did congratulate him, though, and as for the match, it was really fun. Angle and HBK worked as a cohesive unit for a few seconds to neutralize Cena, and then they went at it. Angle and HBK mostly carried this match with their dynamics and their entertaining story, and Cena just started to sweep in when he was needed. I personally love that finishing sequence when HBK super kicked Angle and Cena was right there to FU him to retain the gold. I recommend you go and watch this one if you haven't, because it was about 17 minutes, and those 17 minutes fly by very quickly. Following Taboo Tuesday, Cena and Angle's feud continued, but this time, the deck was even more stacked than previously. First of all, let me explain the events that led to Cena getting screwed over for a bit. On the November 7, 2005 episode of Raw, Kurt Angle made his entrance as usual, but this time the fans were shouting, "You suck," so damn loudly. Angle couldn't withstand 10,000 fans shouting this at him, and he demanded that they show some respect. So he did the entrance again. But the fans wouldn't comply with Angle's request. As a matter of fact, he was even louder, and so he went ballistic, stating that he works his ass off every day of the year for the fans. He gave them one last chance to show some respect. Once again, he came out, but this time what could possibly go wrong? Like, you're jeopardizing the main event if you say it. They were once again loud, and it seemed like Angle got dazed from this negative reception. Angle felt disrespected, claiming that the fans abused their rights to boo. He said that he lost his family because he put his life into this business, and he called the fans self-absorbed, selfish bastards. He told the fans that they suck, and he walked away. Eric Bischoff begged for Angle to go back out there, but he didn't care. He wanted the fans to quit chanting, "You suck." Secondly, he wanted to handpick referee. If Bischoff failed to even make good on one of these requests, then Angle is not performing tonight. At the end of the night, Angle got both of these things. When he came out, he was confident that the fact that "you suck" chants were gone, and they were, as Eric Bischoff managed to censor the crowd, like you. As for the referee in the main event, it was the returning the VAR. He got a warm reception from the Indiana crowd. Obviously, he screwed over Cena and HBK. It was also revealed that Daivari was Angle's personal referee from there on. As you can see by this picture, he was more than just a personal referee. Before Survivor Series, John Cena managed to piss off Kurt Angle even more by asking the stars in the locker room if Kurt Angle sucks. None of them really responded because they were either heels or divas or the boogeyman. So Cena asked the fans, the Sheffield crowd, if Kurt Angle sucks. They responded, Angle does suck. In the end, Cena came to the conclusion that Angle still sucks and they brawled for a bit. Cena sent Angle right over the top rope to gain the upper hand. As for their match at Survivor Series, well, it wasn't on the level of their previous matches once again, but it was decent enough. Daivari was as partial as a referee could get. He raised Angle's hand in the beginning. Cena got fed up with Daivari and he slapped the taste out of his mouth. Daivari was going to disqualify him, but Angle begged him not to. And the funniest part of this match for me was when Angle was blasting referees. He pulled by a referee that ran out to the ring because Cena was getting the upper hand. And once again, he uppercut a referee because he didn't count fast enough, I believe. Then, Charles Robinson, a SmackDown referee, was walking down the aisle. Angle was trying to tell him to go back. And
Park Angle was on a different level,
Angle entered the ring, Cena FU'd him to retain the title. Angle called that BS, and Cena once again stood tall, as always. The next night on Raw, John Cena was set to defend the WWE Championship against both Kurt Angle and Chris Masters in a submission.
Oh,
now,
Lord.
This match was booked because McMahon was pissed off at Bischoff's performances at Survivor Series. Bischoff's goal was to see Cena tap out, and if he failed to reach that goal, then it's time to take out the trash. Now, at this point, Cena was lacking a submission move, but that would all be fixed during this match as Cena brutalized Masters' leg with a chair before locking him into the STF. It would eventually be renamed the STFU. Right after the match, McMahon said that it's time to take out the trash. The next week, Eric Bischoff, in a bid to keep his job as Raw GM, booked Cena in an Elimination Chamber match for New Year's Revolution. That didn't amount to much, and Vince fired him after a night in court. Cena took out the trash, and Vince himself threw Bischoff into the garbage truck. It was some wacky stuff, and if you've never seen it before, I suggest you do. It's just bizarre. Vince himself drove the garbage truck out of there. Now that Cena didn't have to deal with Bischoff, he still had to deal with Daivari the following week. He faced him in a You Can't See Me match, which is basically a glorified blindfold match. Now, first of all, Daivari desecrated some of Boston's heroes. Cena caught him red-handed, and that slap he gave him, oh my god, I felt it. As for that You Can't See Me match, it was just two guys messing around. Daivari's taunting him, and Cena started to point in each direction. Angle's delivering cheap shots, but it was clear that Cena wasn't going to lose this one in Boston. And he did it. Now Cena was going to focus on the Elimination Chamber. On the first Raw of 2006, John Cena was set to face Kurt Angle in a First Blood match. At this point, we knew who Cena's opponents were in the chamber and what entry number he was. He was number 1. Now, the problem with this match was the fact they faced off many times during this time period. That doesn't mean it was bad, it was decent. Angle blasted Cena with the chair to win the First Blood match. This was thanks to Daivari distracting Cena. Following the match, every single one of the chamber contestants entered the ring and they brawled. It was entertaining. Kane came out, he knocked out everyone in sight, and all of a sudden, HBK super kicked him from out of nowhere. Michaels was going to super kick John Cena, but he countered and hit an FU. It was a wild ending to Raw, and it reminded me of one of those Attitude Era episodes. As for the chamber match, it wasn't bad, but in terms of the action in the ring, it wasn't memorable. Angle was on fire, but he got a sudden super kick by HBK, and he was eliminated in about 4 minutes. Meanwhile, Masters and Carlito coexisted.
You know, I've figured out WWE's formula with these Elimination Chamber matches. Whoever they wait. This is what they do with these Elimination Chamber matches. They wait till everybody comes in. Then the guy who's on a hot streak is the first guy eliminated. Then they get rid of 2 heels. They get rid of 2 heels. Then they get rid of the sleeper pick. And then it comes down to whoever's needed for the storyline. I've noticed this. They do the same rinse, recycle, repeat shit with the Elimination Chamber matches. I know what they do, bro.
And they worked as a cohesive unit. They eliminated Kane and they destroyed Cena and HBK. They were wise sticking to the game plan and they even got rid of HBK to make it 2-on-1. They punished Cena for a bit before Carlito asked for Chris to wrap it up with a Master Lock. Masters locked them in and it seemed like there was going to be a new champion, but Carlito all of a sudden low-blowing Masters and rolled him up to eliminate him. But Cena was right there to roll up Carlito as well to retain his championship. Now let me explain this from Carlito's perspective. He saw Cena as someone who was basically fatigued and damaged goods. Well, Masters was somewhat fresh, so that's why he did that. And plus, Carlito was a backstabber anyways. Mr. McMahon came out. He congratulated Cena on retaining the gold as the fans booed. McMahon then announced that Edge is cashing in his money in the bank privilege, and out he came. He handed the briefcase to Vince and it was on. Edge had been waiting so damn long for this opportunity. He went straight up to Cena and delivered several rights. He tried pinning him twice, but he kicked out. he continued to unload on the Shane before signaling for the spear. Edge successfully hit the spear, but Cena kicked out at 2.9, and good God. I thought that was a 3. Like, just look at it. You'd think that was a 3 count if you were watching live. Mike Chioda hit the man right when Cena kicked out. Edge couldn't believe this, so he went for another spear. This time, though, it got him the win. And Joey Styles' words are stuck in my head. My God, what has happened here tonight? Edge has shocked the world. Who the hell expected this? Seriously. Edge being the one who ended Cena's title reign. Like, he went through JBL, Christian, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and all those guys in the chamber match. Yet it was Edge who ended the title reign. This is my favorite Money in the Bank cash-in, just to let you know. Even though Seth Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania.
I'll say this is the number 2 because Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31 by far is hands down. That's unheard of. He did it mid-match. He's the first person to ever do it mid-match and actually walk away with the championship. And the fact that he did it at WrestleMania, yeah, Seth got number 1. And then this is definitely number 2. Basically, Edge got the best ones out of all of them, really.
And yeah, I still think this is the best one because it was unexpected at the time, and it was Edge, so yeah. Anyways, Cena's title reign was weird. It lasted for nearly a year, and you gotta wonder, like, what if Edge didn't cash in? Like, how long would he have held it? As for what I think of this title reign, I prefer his year-long title reign over this one, because by then he was way better as an in-ring performer. I thought the first title reign, though, solidified him as the top guy in the company, and WWE, for the first time in years, found 2 top guys that weren't leaving anytime soon. Next title reign is Batista, obviously.
Definitely gotta watch that one.
Might go with Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio's title reigns that followed Batista's. The John Cena year-long title reign, the Marine one, will be coming eventually. I don't know when, but right now I gotta focus on Batista. All in all, John Cena's title reign was weird. Like, they brought Jericho, Kurt Angle, and all those guys to put him over, and it did work. But some fans didn't really like it because Cena's booked to be Superman, basically. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit a FU on the like button and perhaps an STFU on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.
Yeah, but they found a diamond in the rough. They found a diamond in the rough with Edge, man. But anyways, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I remember this, man. I was so happy. This is when, man, then Edge came in and took the title from him, and from that point on, Edge was the most hated person at the schoolyard. At recess, we all hated Edge. All of us with our John Cena t-shirts, Chain Gang necklaces, Chain Gang jerseys with the hat. Oh my God, we had the wristbands, the You Can't See Me. Oh man, Edge was the most hated person at the playground, bruh. I swear, for damn near 2 years, Edge was the most hated person at the school, at the playground, bro. I swear to God. But anyways, though, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.